I've built all of the LEGO Star Wars sets that were released on August the 1st. There are some great sets, as well as a couple of not so great sets, but we'll get into that a bit later. Building them was the easy part. Finding somewhere to display them, now that's a different story. My existing LEGO Star Wars display is focused into two main areas. The first area is this set of billy shelves here, as well as 3 shelves of this smaller billy shelf. The other area of Star Wars sets is the top 4 cubes of this IKEA Kallax unit with the Millennium Falcon and Jango Fett's Slave One on the top of this. All of these areas are full and have already started to spill out into other areas. I have the Andor U-Wing spilling out onto the shelf at the bottom of this unit, as well as a couple of other sets that are just sitting on the top of the billy shelves here. So today's mission is to get all of these new LEGO Star Wars sets into a display that has no space and without adding any new shelves. Sounds simple, right? Well, we'll soon find out. I'm going to start things off relatively simple with the 2 new buildable characters, which are the buildable Wicket the Ewok and the security droid K2SO. I absolutely love the LEGO Star Wars buildable characters, and these two are no exception and have come in and become 2 of my absolute favourites actually. The detail on Wicket is outstanding, and the way they've been able to recreate the Ewok is absolutely fantastic. And then K2SO looks absolutely incredible. What an imposing figure he is standing there on his brick built base. Now the reason I say these 2 are simple is because I want to keep these with the existing Star Wars buildable characters, which are on these 2 shelves, and then over here we have Yoda and the Droideka on this shelf as well. So I want to keep them in this area with all the other characters. But as you can see, these shelves are already packed full, so it's going to be a bit of a shuffling around to try and get these 2 to fit in as well, but we're going to give it a go. So K2SO is pretty tall, so he's just slightly too big for that shelf. So my initial thought actually was to move out the Droideka droid, if he comes out of there. This is a good size for K2SO to go in, just like that. He'll sit there next to Yoda. And if I just put the plaque on there as well, and just step back, how does that look? Now I don't think that actually looks too bad there. The only problem is that poster behind is kind of hiding the K2SO droid. So if I was to move that, there, that looks a lot better. That allows the K2S droid to stand out with that black being in front of that white background. I think I'm going to make the decision to sacrifice these 2 bottom shelves of this billy shelf and have this whole section as a Star Wars shelf. I mean, it's pretty random what's on here anyway. We've got Groot and Rocket riding the Vespa. Not that Rocket is even on the Vespa, as you can see. He's come right off of there.
Help me! Help me!
And then on that bottom shelf is just a few Harry Potter sets. And I made the decision a while ago to stop displaying LEGO Harry Potter sets, just because I just needed the space for other sets. So I decided to put them into storage. So I may add those 3 sets into storage as well, and then have that whole shelf as LEGO Star Wars, as I said. So I went ahead and cleared those shelves, moved the 2 helmets that I've got and the Star Wars logo down 1, and that allowed me to get the Droideka back in. And I've also moved Dio to there as well, because I wanted Wicket the Ewok to be on this shelf. I think that looks, and I've managed to just space them out a lot better as well, and I think that this is looking really tidy now. So we've got these 2 shelves of buildable characters, as well as those 2 as well, and that's looking really good. We've still got a free shelf down in this section of the smaller billy shelf, and I know exactly what to place here. So the next set we're going to try and get into the display is the UCS AT-ST. I absolutely adore this set. I think it's so good. I think it's an incredible interpretation of the Star Wars AT-ST in LEGO form, and I'm really pleased that they released an updated version of the UCS AT-ST. So I'm going to be placing the AT-ST down on this bottom shelf, but as you can see, it's a little bit tall, so we need to adjust that shelf above it so that the AT-ST fits in. With the shelf raised, let's see if the AT-ST fits in place, which it does. Excellent. And we'll just have a slight angle with his head tilted, just for a bit of dramatic effect. And that looks good. Get the information plaque in there as well. Oh yes. So there's the AT-ST in place on our bottom shelf, and that is looking really good in its standalone position on the bottom there. Very pleased with that one. I was able to free up some more shelves, free in fact over on this section, on the Kallax units, and I've moved the U-wing into this section as well, so we can have a little Star Wars corner in here, which is good. So now we've got some more space for those Star Wars sets. Let's see what we can get in these two here, and I think I have a good idea. So I'm going to place these two land vehicles on those two shelves in the same cube. We've got the Republic Juggernaut and the Battle of Fallujah Separatist MTT. I really like the look of this MTT, and I love the deployment feature of the droids, but other than that, there's not really much to this set. And obviously at $139.99 it is a very high price on this set, but it does come with some good minifigures. And then there's the Republic Juggernaut, which is probably considered one of the worst sets from the wave. I think it's okay. It doesn't have the greatest design quality. If you handle it too much, it will fall apart. And again, there's that $139.99 price point, which is astronomical for the amount of pieces this is. It does come with some good minifigures though. This is my first turbo tank, so I am pleased to have this vehicle in my Lego collection. But anyway, let's get these two sets on that shelf and see how it looks. That doesn't look too shabby at all. I think they fit in nicely together on that shelf at a side view, so you can see the side of the vehicle with all of the minifigures going across the front. Now I need to get some of those black plates for the minifigures to stand on, otherwise they're just going to be falling over continuously. But those two, yeah, they look really good there, so I'm pleased with that. And then obviously we've got that free shelf next to it underneath the U-wing, so I'm going to need to decide what to place in there. But before we fill that shelf, I've decided that I'm going to place the small Jango Fett Slave one next to its daddy, the big UCS Jango Fett Slave one. I think those two work really well together. It was good to have that little space between the two ships for that little Jango Fett Slave one. So yeah, that's a good place for it. And that's 6 of the sets now, which leaves only 3 to find a space for. So we've got a whole shelf open. So I think we may do this. One of the 3 remaining Star Wars sets is this Force Burner Snow Speeder. This is from Rebuild the Galaxy. And it looks like someone's took a Snow Speeder, took it to Exhibit and said, hey Exhibit, pimp my ride.
So you want to be a player, but your wheels ain't flying. You gotta hit us up to get a pimped out ride.
And he's given it this awesome paint job with the flames and all of those bright colours. I mean, who said Lego Star Wars is just grey? Look at the colours on this. And not only that, they added a speeder to the back that you can just pull out. You know, most of those cars on Pimp My Ride had big screen TVs in the back. This one's got a speeder. It's not your typical Lego Star Wars set, which is what I really like. And then it also has 3 original, really cool minifigures. We've got Sig Greebling, Darth Dev, and Salitas. These look awesome. Another one of those 3 sets is the Lego Star Wars 327th Star Corps Clone Troopers Battle Pack. This one comes with 4 Clone Troopers in their iconic 327th Star Corps outfits, as well as 3 super battle droids. This set also includes a buildable AT-RT as well as a spider droid. I'm going to add these 2 sets to this cube here where I've got some of the smaller Lego builds, and hopefully it's not going to look too crowded, but we'll put them down and see how that looks. So I've placed those sets in that cube now, and it doesn't look too bad. I've had a bit of a shuffle around to create more space on the top and bottom shelves. I really like the look of these minifigures lined up. I think that they look really cool, and that snow speeder That colourful snowspeeder looks good at the front next to Ahsoka's starfighter. That looks really good. Not too crowded. I thought it was going to be that, a little bit too crowded, but it doesn't look too bad. I'm pleased with that one. And the final set is the V19 Torrent Starfighter. This was a really enjoyable build and looks really good when those wings are deployed in flight mode. Comes with 3 really cool minifigures. We got a clone pilot there. There's also General Obi-Wan Kenobi. And finally, a Sar Ventress there, who looks pretty cool. I really like this set. Hopefully, I'm going to try and display it in this flight mode, just at an angle like that, if it can stand up, because that looks a lot better than when the wings are up and it's on its landing gear. So I'm going to see how that looks. And this one is going to go in that final empty shelf space that we created. So let's take a look. So I decided to place the V19 Torrent Starfighter up on this shelf. I had the Darth Maul Interceptor on this one, but I moved that one down to that bottom empty shelf, and I wanted to keep the V19 with the Arc 170 Starfighter. Obviously they're the same colour scheme, because obviously being from the Clone Wars era, I thought that they would look really good together. And unfortunately I couldn't get it in that flight mode, so I've had to put the wings up and it's in its landing position. But I don't think it looks too bad there with that Arc 170. So there we go, we've got all the sets in place. And I'm actually really pleased with some of the final results. It's given me some time to do a little bit of sorting, some dusting. And I'm really happy with some of these placements. Obviously I did have to take out all of these sets on this table, so I've got to find somewhere for all those to go. But that'll be another day, I think. Some of them may have to go into storage, like the Harry Potter ones, like I said. But as for the Star Wars sets going on display, really pleased with those. I think that some of them look really, really good indeed. Thanks a lot for watching. I'd love to know what you think to the new LEGO Star Wars display. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.